Hey, what's up guys, welcome back, and for those of you who are new to this channel, let me start by explaining that Care Tutoring is a student-run online tutoring service in which we are proud to provide low-income students from all over the world with free tutoring in a variety of subjects, including the SAT, SAT subject tests, ACT, IB diploma, advanced placement tests, A-levels, or the GCSE. So if you're a low-income student and need some help with either subject or test, visit caretutoring.com and apply now to become one of our students. All you have to do is read the guidelines, make sure you compile by them, and apply. You'll be shortly allocated to one of our highly qualified teachers and tutors in which they are going to help you along the way. And if you have what it takes to become a tutor, a volunteer tutor, and want a real sense of being able to make a difference in the community, also visit caretutoring.com and apply to become one of our volunteer tutors. Okay, so on today's video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and strategies for approaching the reading section of the SAT. But before I begin, I just want to give you a quick overview for those of you who are unfamiliar with the test or yet to take it. So, in a nutshell, the reading section is the first section of the test. It consists of 5 passages, 10 to 11 questions each. So that's a total of 52 questions, and you should be able to answer them in an hour and 5 minutes, which is quite tough. Topics tested include history, literature, science, and social science passages, not in any particular order, although literature passages tend to come first most of the time, all the time actually. So yeah, moving on to tip number 1, pin down a strategy. So there's nothing really worse than going into the test not really knowing what your plan is or what are you going to do. Are you going to read the entire passage first, then attempt the questions, or are you going to skim through it, or maybe scan the questions first and then try to figure out the answers on the fly? Which a lot of people seem to do. Or is there any particular subject that screws you over? Then it might be wise to save that for last. So yeah, there are a lot of questions to consider and many approaches out there, but since we're all very different in terms of our reading comprehension abilities and our reading speed, then what might work for somebody might be disastrous for someone else. So yeah, it just takes time and loads of experimenting to figure out what works best for you, and once you do, just stick to it. So number 2, read the blurb. So for those of you who don't know, the blurb is just basically a little descriptive box at the beginning of each passage, like the one I have here, and please excuse my attempt at drawing an arrow. So yeah, the passage is adapted from David Rotman, How Technology Destroying Jobs. So I would assume that the passage is going to discuss the negative impacts of technology, on employment. So yeah, some people skip the blurb to cut on time consumption, but I don't think you should, because through the blurb you could get a glimpse on the main idea if you're lucky enough, the setting of the passage, when and where everything happened, the characters, the relationship between 2 passages within a paired passage. Are they both agreeing or on the same terms, or are they disagreeing, or is one elaborating on the other one? Maybe the name of the author could spark a certain memory of something you've read or you're familiar with. So yeah, most of the time you'll extract useful information from the blurb, so don't skip it, otherwise you'll be reading some sort of mumbo jumbo. So tip number 3, only underline what's important. But before I get into that, let me just say that whether you're going to read the entire passage or certain paragraphs within the passage, read actively or for a purpose, and that purpose should solely be gathering as much useful information as possible to be able to answer the questions that follow. So you're not reading because it's your favorite pastime, or you're bored, or for fun. But that being said, do get yourself in the mindset that what you're reading is interesting, to avoid zoning out. But yeah, just try to read actively. So back to tip number 3, only underline what's important. So I know a lot of people, including myself, tend to read with their pencils, or follow along the lines with their pencils, just because it makes us concentrate more. But a lot of people get carried away and end up underlining the whole passage, which makes it a bit useless. But if it makes you concentrate, then you do you. Otherwise, just underline only important stuff, and that could be like important or useful details in the passage, stuff that is worth focusing on. That could be like super negative or positive sentences, you know, what comes after but or however, maybe the author's opinion on something, you know, an unexpected outcome, the results of an experiment, maybe something weird, you know, something you read and then you think to yourself like, oh, like why would the author mention that here, like that's odd. Like he's discussing the general theory of relativity, for example, and proceeds to talk about flamingos or cucumber. So yeah, only underline what's important. Usually in the reading section, the passages are filled with wordy and unnecessary details to trip you up. Try not to get hung up on those. Avoid points that are irrelevant or extraneous to concepts. Just focus on the main idea. That's important because when you go back to when you proceed to answer the questions and you need to go back to the passage, you wouldn't have to, you would only have to go back to what you've underlined, thus saving loads of time. Okay, so number 4, summarize the paragraph, or the main idea of the paragraph. So after you finish reading each paragraph, sum it up in the margin next to it. So write it down in your own language. It doesn't matter really, so just 2 or 3 words for reference. So I've got an example here. So that robots, automation and software can replace people might seem obvious to anyone who's worked in the automotive manufacturing as a travel agent, but the range of false okay, I give up. And McPhee's claim is more troubling and controversial. They believe that rapid technological change has been destroying jobs faster than it's creating them, contributing to the stagnation of median income and the growth of inequality in the United States. Okay, so the main idea here suggests that, you know, automation and advanced technologies are kind of like eliminating the need for people in a growing number of jobs, thus creating inequality. So I've summed it up here in 3 words: technology equal less jobs equal inequality. And this is really helpful because most probably you'll encounter a question that asks for the main idea of a certain paragraph, and instead of going back and reading it all again because you would most likely have forgotten what you've read, you would just look at the summary you've written in the margin, thus saving loads of time. So okay, last but not least, technical tone of each paragraph. And what I mean by the tone here is the paragraph like entirely negative, you know, for example, discussing the negative impacts of extracting fossil fuels on global warming? Or is it, you know, neutral? Is it super like fact focused, or is it like entirely positive, you know, talking about how bananas cure cancer? Probably they don't, but yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, this helps when eliminating answer choices, because if you know for a fact that the answer to a particular question lies in a paragraph that's entirely positive, then you would eliminate all the answer choices that are negative and the opposite. So that's it for today, guys. That's all the tips I have for this video. I hope you guys found it useful, and I just want to say congrats on the grind. We all hit a ceiling. Like, no matter how hard we try, sometimes we can't seem to improve, but mistakes will be made and progress isn't linear, but the winner is the one who keeps going. And I just want to let you know that sometimes it just takes time, but recognize that you can still attain a high score, and it could be as late as December in senior year. So good luck, guys, and yes, please like the video and subscribe to our channel because it's super cool, and to stay updated on future posts. And also follow us in social media, especially Instagram, because we post a lot of questions there. Yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and bye.